Yeah, let's get into some sportsbook picks here. Um, as I'm looking at it right now, so here on Monday, and obviously DB's Big Balls betting card will be up on the website starting on Tuesday with an update on Wednesday. Pat's Not That Anybody Cares betting card will be tweeted out,
which has
although it's
become a
been
thing.
very hot. It's been very
Which is
hot
it's
lately.
become a thing for some reason, and we didn't win
Listen,
anything last week,
not
but
last
we
week.
were close. We were close. There were some close
But
ones.
but when the rare thing is that you didn't win betting golf outrights, you're doing something right. You know what I mean? You're
Yeah,
doing something
yeah.
right. So let's look at some outrights, and I have two top 10 numbers that I'm kind of looking at. I'm not gonna. I do like. It's this is kind of tough. It's long shot season, but there's a lot of really attractive names in like the 50s, like the 40s and 50s. Luke List interests me at 45 to 1. About as short, let me tell you this, about as short as I would go is McCarthy at 35. 35 to 1. I like McCarthy on DK.
See, I would go Norlander at 35 to 1.
I don't mind that either, actually. I don't mind that either.
So
Luke
that's
List
my
at
shortest guy.
45. I kind of like. Luke's going to come down to putting. Wesley Bryan is at 60 to 1 on points bet, which I like that number. Sepp Straka is at 50 to 1 on points bet. I like that a lot. I think win equity there is good. Our boy Peter Malnati is at 55 to 1 on DK. I mean, dude, if long shot season is not defined by betting Peter Malnati, the biggest dork on the whole of the PGA Tour, the guy that a couple weeks ago when he was awaiting on whether or not he'd be in a playoff wasn't warming up on the range, but he was dad shaming all of us by like hanging out with his newborn and his wife, like sitting down having a picnic while the tournament was finishing up behind him. That Peter Malnati, if long shot season is not defined by betting that guy, then I don't want any part of it.
See,
I want to
you
lay a
must
full unit on Peter Malnati.
see you must have been looking at that one way earlier than I did because I pulled it up right before the show, and that's already been put down to 45 to 1.
Oh, I can't do that.
So can you do it at 45 to 1?
I'll do a half unit. It
See,
was a
I liked it. I
struggle
like
for
it
me
at
to do a full
45 to
unit.
1. I
Well,
like it at
I mean, I like
45
it
to
better
1.
at 55 to 1. It was 55 to 1 earlier. Is that the best number? Is points bet any better?
Oh wait, you're on PointsBet or you're on DraftKings?
He was 55 to 1 on. No, God, he's 40 to 1 on points bet.
Yeah, he's
Mother father.
45. He's
Who is
45
betting
to
down
1.
Peter Malnati? What the is going on?
I don't know. This is Crazy Town Bermuda
I'm starting to
Championship.
think he's going to be chalky, actually. We talked about him in DFS. I'm starting to think he might be more chalky than we think, which is absolutely bananas. Um,
Anyway,
Getting into the, well, okay. Your boy Stallings at 50 to 1 is interesting. Justin Suh at 55 to 1 is interesting. Scott Piercy at 50 to 1. You mentioned him on the show. Do you bet he's on points bet at 50 to 1? Do you bet you were ashamed to talk about this guy in DFS, but Duffner at 80 to 1.
I
I
like
mean,
it.
here's the thing about Duffner. In the event he makes a few putts, like in the event he can make some putts, he could win this thing by like 6 shots
He really could. If
because
you
his
look at,
ball striking is so good.
it's so good. I agree, and
But
that's what
that's
I
how
look
bad
at.
his putting is.
His putting is unbelievably terrible.
I am I am my face is going to be numb by the end of TJ After Dark. I just want to let you know.
Because of this big
Vodka.
drink you just poured.
Yeah. All right, getting into the longer numbers. I think Lebiota on points bet at 100 to 1 is automatic considering his form, his history here, checks boxes. I think that's very good. Love Chris Baker. There's a contingent at 125 to 1. Let's see. No, actually they're bigger than that on points bet. Dang. So Chris Baker is 200 to 1 on points bet and 125 to 1 on DK. Now, you can look at that one of two ways and go, man, points bet has him way, underpriced, or DK has him way overpriced. But I think he's actually underpriced. So 200 to 1 with Chris Baker, I like. Michael Gligic is another one. 125 to 1 on DK, 150 to 1 on points bet. And then Josh Teeter, 125 to 1 on DK and 150 on PointsBet. So PointsBet, the longer numbers, a little more generous here. And I like all three of those guys. We talked about all three of them in the DFS side. Baker, Gligic, and Teeter, all three played here last year. Teeter finished 11th. All three made the cut last year. Checking some boxes. Gligic's probably shown the better form of the three of late, but all three checking boxes.
Yeah, I mean, again, I don't mind any of those. I will say I do like some Max Homa going a little shorter. Max Homa at 90 to 1 on DraftKings. I think that's a good play.
We didn't talk about Homa in DFS. It's a big. It feels like a big name for this event to be priced as bad as he is. And obviously the form's not good. And there's the rumor. Well, it's probably not a rumor. I mean, he's a great dude. Just shot the course record in Ponte Vedra this past weekend with the No Laying Up boys.
I saw that,
which is great. That's great. I mean, that's great. That means he's playing well. He went low. I don't know that that's worth putting a whole lot of stock into, but I think Homa is an interesting name. We know he has win equity.
Here's another interesting name besides Homa, and I agree with that. Hudson Swafford.
Mm-hmm.
Did he not just win?
He did, and we bet him at 150 to 1.
Did he not just get us a first round leader bet also?
At 100 to 1, yes, sir. Yes, sir. We were 250 to 1 on Hudson Swafford.
He's 125 to 1.
Exactly.
125 to 1 on the DraftKings Sportsbook. Now he's 90 to 1.
He came out and sucked after that, but
no, he did. But he's 90 to 1 at PointsBet, so there's a big difference there.
But here's another coastal course like Corrales.
I mean, it's the same kind of course. You know, It's a guy that should play well here. I mean, why do you get off of a guy? I know he missed his last two cuts, but he also just won just a few weeks ago. I think that's pretty good value for a guy who just won recently at 125 to 1 on DraftKings. I think that's, I'm willing to, look, Brendan Todd did it last year. He won at Bermuda, and then he won, I think, the next week, in Mexico or something or whatever. So it's not like it can't happen. So at 125 to 1, I like some Swafford there. I think that's a good play.
Can I tell you my my tall my Pat's order at Starbucks bet of the week? The tall light roast, leave room for cream Starbucks order that probably cost you about $4.
You know that you got that from my one order with this past week, and that's not like what I always order, but it just happened to be that day I was wanting the light roast.
And anyway, I'm not even going to go. You went grande. I'm not even going grande. I'm going tall, which is the shorter one, which is the dumbest thing ever. But it's the shorter one, the cheaper one, $4 maybe. I normally don't do this, but there are two names at massive numbers on DraftKings. I'm talking massive numbers. And if you just put $4 on each of them and kissed it goodbye, like you were drinking a cup of coffee and crapping it out 30 minutes later. I don't drink coffee, I rent it. So if you're just crapping it out. Matt Every at 600 to 1. 600 to 1. A guy who's won Bay Hill a couple times. Like, he's a train wreck. But 600 to 1. Is he still 600 to 1?
He's still 600 to 1, yeah.
Those
odds aren't going to change.
That is massive.
Nobody's looking at those guys. Those are not the odds that are going to change. It's the people. It's the Peter Malnati's of the world that are going to change.
I mean, Matt Every is known to just come out of nowhere and have a week. That's just he's literally stayed on the PGA Tour because of that. What if this is the week and you miss it at 600 to 1? The other name is a much lesser known name, but he's a Korn Ferry player, Korn Ferry Tour player. And let me pull this up before I get into this. He was on my radar last year, and he just didn't really pan out. But he won in August on the Korn Ferry Tour, and he is 400 to 1, and his name is Seth Reeves. He's 400 to 1 on DK. He won in August. He followed that up in late August at the Korn Ferry Tour Championship and finished third. So this guy has upside. Now he misses a lot of cuts.
Okay,
but he has
now
upside.
That one I'm contradicting myself now, because are you looking at DraftKings?
Yeah.
That's no longer. It's 225 to 1. Somebody figured him out.
Damn it.
Somebody figured him out.
He's 250 to 1 on PointsBet, so you get a little extra. Golly, he was 400 to 1 this afternoon. 250 to 1 right now. This is
why you need to look at odds, by the way, on Monday and look through these things, because they get it. I mean, they get it wrong, especially with some of these. I mean,
yeah. Seth Reeves is his name. All right, well, that's enough of that. That took incredibly.
We need to get into the putter throw, because
we're already too far gone into this. All right.